Have you ever wished that you had a tall table that is really a workbench on wheels? Well, I needed a tall work table on wheels for another project that I'll show you in a different video. If you leave out the time that it took to dry the glue, this took me less than 3 hours to build. If you want to make this, be sure to watch the video to the end first. It's 37 inches tall and 21 inches wide, but a larger top can be put on for bigger projects. Here's what I had in mind for my tall work table. My plan was to build a sturdy frame for the top, and then I needed to support the long legs, so maybe a frame inside the legs would work to support the bottom. So I made the legs to the height that I wanted, allowing for it to be 3 inches shorter to allow for the casters that I would attach to the bottom. The top was a piece of 1/2-inch fiberboard that I already had in the garage. However, the top could be any size as long as it doesn't hang over the edge too much to make it tippy. So there, wasn't that easy? And it's so handy. As you can see here, most of the construction is 2x2s. I wanted it light enough to be able to carry upstairs if I had to. A wider piece of wood can be screwed on top if the project gets a little out of hand and you need a larger surface. All right, let's get busy making our tall, rolling work table. Determine how much lip you want your tabletop to have. For the compact table, I just wanted about a 1/2 inch overhang. It helps to mark everything. And be sure to cut each 2x2 to match the other one. Now it's time for the long side. Before gluing, make sure everything is all squared up. I make my own frames for my artwork. I love this strap that holds everything tight while it's being glued. Of course, don't tighten it until you've glued all the corners. Now all you have to do is screw that little cinch thing and make sure all the boards are matching up evenly. Don't be in such a hurry. Do something else while the glue sets. After allowing the glue to dry for at least an hour, maybe overnight, remove the tightening strap. Now I am pre-drilling a hole to prevent the wood from splitting. Then I'll screw in a 2-inch screw. Here's a little trick that I do. I countersink the hole for the screw by running the drill bit around in a circle until it makes an indentation. Now make the smaller frame that fits at the bottom. After the top frame is finished, place 4 scrap wood placeholders that represent the legs at each corner. Measure and cut the lower frame to fit inside that parameter. There is no need to strap them if you have cut them precisely so that they fit tightly. Put plastic underneath them before gluing so that you don't glue them to another board. Even little pieces of plastic will do so that you don't get glue where you don't want glue. After gluing the lower frame, make sure the glue is thoroughly set before screwing the frame together. Wow, that looks like a perfect fit to me. Now it's time to attach only 2 of the legs to the top. Affix only 2 legs at first. Notice how the top of the leg has been pre-drilled and reamed out with the screwdriver tip. The screws are partially inserted to make the gluing process easier. Hey gals, just a question. Do you get no respect at the DIY store? That's just not right. Sometimes I get the most arrogant answers when I know those answers are absolutely incorrect. Make sure you prop up the legs at the back with a scrap piece of 2x2 so that the leg will fall straight while it dries. Now finish drilling in the screws. Be sure you keep the legs elevated while you attach the lower frame. Make sure the table legs are supported at all times so that they don't fall down and bend the screws. If that happens, you'll have a mess on your hands. Make sure the frame is square before gluing. Take note that I'm pre-drilling again. I certainly don't want any cracked wood at this stage. Okay, here's the close-up of my hack for countersinking screws. With countersinking, the screw can lie flat with the wood. I know, most of you already know that, but maybe there's somebody out there who wants ideas for cocktail party conversation. Now repeat what you did for the first 2 legs. Now you can attach the other 2 legs and screw them to the base. This is no fancy carpentry skill, just some string holding the pieces together while the glue is setting. The level showed me that the workbench was slightly uneven. That That's an easy fix with this project. Be careful, your floor may be uneven, like my garage floor is uneven also. I cut a thin little shim to glue onto the bottom of the leg. Simple fix. I was lucky. I got the thickness of the shim right the first time around. Coming down the stretch to the end, attach the casters. Now I'm making little extender pieces of wood that will fit onto the bottom of the leg. The casters that I already had were a little too large for the 2x2s, but I didn't want to waste them, so this is the fix. So what is this crazy tool that I'm using? It's a belt sander, of course, and I also use it for sharpening axes. Most of the time, I'm using it upside down. I have also used it for a lot of other unusual projects, like evening up terracotta tiles for the floor. Same old drill, glue and let set again. You don't want these pieces to spin around when you start drilling into them. As you can see, I'm multitasking a bit to glue the little shim on before I glue on that extender plate. Coming to the finish line now. It turned out to be a really easy project and very useful. After the glue was set, I put a 1-inch screw in each one to hold it firmly in place, of course. I used just the cheap 1-inch drywall screws for this part. It's hard to find a ball bearing caster with a brake on it. I didn't want my project to slide all over the place, let's say in case of an earthquake. California gets a lot of those. The screws for the casters are really short, but I still advise pre-drilling. Only drill the screws in halfway so that you can adjust them as you go along. Putting on the bottom slats is super easy. I'm making the little shelves out of other wood I had around the garage for making gold leaf frames for my art. Whoa, this is fun. See, look how the ball bearings make it spin around so easily. The bottom slats are glued in and they really don't have to be nailed or screwed in, but it doesn't hurt to do it. Wow, now it's time for the top already. As it turns out, I had everything I needed to make this little workbench in the garage. The only thing I bought were the corner brackets or corner braces, whatever they're called, but I've got to return those because I didn't use them. I especially wanted a smaller top for this work table. However, this frame will support a much larger top. A larger top could even be placed over the top of this one and lightly screwed down. You might want a larger work area for a different project. It is especially important to sink the screws for the top. You could also super sink them by making a bigger sinkhole. Maybe not as large as the ones you get in the street, but you could fill it with wood putty and it'll look really nice. But nice isn't the intention of this workbench. It's purely utility. I'm not even planning to stain it or paint it. It's just going to be a workbench. This tall revolving table is so handy to create these crazy cakes that I make. I'll show you step by step how to put one of these fun cakes together. And if you are a real cake pastry chef, you will find that this table will make your job a lot easier. If you know someone who loves to decorate cakes, give them this idea and they will love you for it. Okay, that was a super busy day and I'm really happy with the results. Let me know if you have questions. Don't forget, a busy day makes for a very happy life. See you soon.